Got the top down?
Don't have that car.
I'd like to call the joint meeting of the Internal Services and Finance, Audit, and Budget Committees to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We need to adopt the agenda.
Romano adopts the agenda.
Zinner support.
Thank you. Commissioner Romano made the motion and Commissioner Zinner seconded the motion to adopt the agenda. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the minutes for the Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee from April 12th. Just a note, the Internal Services Committee doesn't have minutes we need to do here because they were with a joint meeting that was already approved. I'd like a motion to approve the Finance, Audit, and Budget.
So moved, Paul.
Do I have a second?
Support Nard.
Thank you. Commissioner Haw, supported by Commissioner Nard, made a motion to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Item 5, public participation. This is the first opportunity for public participation for the public to comment on any item that's on today's agenda for a maximum of 3 minutes. Anyone in the public wish to participate? Anyone in the public wish to participate? Hearing none, we'll close public participation and move on to item 6, the Internal Services Department recommendation. 6A, purchase Dell, Azure, Monterey, commitment and overage for $185.38. Do I hear a motion to move the full board?
So moved, Hall.
Support Romano.
Thank you. Commissioner Haw, supported by Commissioner Romano, made the motion to move 6A to the full board. Jaco?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is one of our maintenance items. It's a little bit different than our other maintenance items in the fact that it is really credits that we buy from Microsoft, and then we consume those credits over a year. Our current estimates are $100,000, which we have in our maintenance budget, and we changed the way we're renegotiated with Microsoft, a new way of signing up for this. In the past, this started during COVID. You know, they charge us $1,600 more or less per credit, and we were able to negotiate a 3-year deal with them to sign up for $1,240. So it's a significant 25% discount to be exact. We paid annually, we don't have to pay the full month up front. So we paid and we billed, you know, as we consume our credits. So that is for this 2022 year.
Thank you. I see no speakers, so we can vote.
Commissioner Kleinfeld, did your vote not come through? Some of them aren't coming through. Yes.
Yeah, I said, yeah, I thought nobody's did. I didn't see anybody doing anything.
Yeah.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Item 6B, purchase from Signature Ford 2 Ford F-150 vehicles for facilities and operations. I need a motion to move to full board.
Motion by Farrington.
Thank you. Commissioner Farrington, supported by Commissioner Wallace, made the motion to move 6B to full board. Mr. Lee?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're just looking to replace two 15-plus-year-old F-150s for F&O. Legitimately, these two vehicles, though, are low on miles. They are being held together by plywood and duct tape at this point. I mean, we can't keep. I mean, there's no other explanation I can give.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Song?
Thank you, Chair. Regarding the F-150s and the F&O, what kind of tasks do they do to use these vehicles?
Our trades personnel use these vehicles to transport materials and equipment to the job sites. We work under a work order system, so we gather all the materials and the equipment that's needed to go to the site.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And how many miles do the current ones have?
Not a lot, probably under 75 for sure, because we only use them here from building to building. They're not driven
Okay.
throughout. That's why they have such high years on them. So.
I see. When you said they were being held by plywood, I was thinking like 100,000 miles or something.
No, they're just, you got to think we're loading heavy items in there, and so it just eventually starts to rust away. Salts, again, cement, and everything you can think of throughout the county that, as I said, and Lynn can attest to, that's required for these jobs. They're work trucks. They take a beating, even though they're just not driven a lot. They're still used every day. So.
Sure. And then just the last question, comment. I mean, I would imagine that these vehicles take up a lot of gas. And so is that something that's being considered? I just don't think that this rise in gas prices is going
Yes,
anywhere.
I mean, we certainly don't put a lot of miles on vehicles because our job isn't to drive around. So a lot of the driving is within the service center where the buildings are. So therefore, we don't always use a lot of gas either. So it's not really a big burden to the budget. I mean, I know gas is going up and that's never good, but it's different from patrol cars and departments that their job is to transport people or delivering meals on wheels, that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Brown?
Thank you. The trucks have 15,000 miles. What are you going to do with it? You're going to
Not 15,000 miles, 15-year.
15 years rather. 15 years rather.
Yeah.
Are they going to be put at the auction? We're going to auction those trucks off.
Yeah.
When is the auction held?
It'll be held again in October.
Okay.
So we follow our, we've switched our auction schedule to follow the Department of Roads, since the vehicles drive the actual people coming in. So we wait until after their fiscal year so we can then auction off all their vehicles.
Should be worth more than they have in the past, given the marketplace for used vehicles and everything else.
Probably. There's going to be a computer chip in there that someone's going to need. So.
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Commissioner, oh, yours came through. Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. I'd like to take items 6C and D together.
So move, Song.
Thank you. It's for facilities and operations. Macomb County Juvenile Justice Center water heater replacement project for $144,000. Motion made by Commissioner Zong and supported by Commissioner Nard. Lynn?
The purchasing department solicited bids on the Minton site for the Juvenile Justice Center domestic hot water boiler replacement project. 127 vendors were actually notified of the solicitation, 22 vendors viewed the documents, and 3 sealed bids were received and publicly read by the purchasing department on March 10th, 2022. These domestic hot water boilers are approximately 20 years old, and we're having difficulty finding replacement parts for these boilers. The domestic hot water boilers actually supply hot water to fixtures within the Juvenile Justice Center, so to the sinks, to the showers, to the washers. They also are used, they need to maintain a constant pressure in the system, and they also have to maintain a certain temperature in order to guard against Legionella. Some of the work involved in this project is the disconnect of the water piping and gas piping to the existing boilers. We would be also disconnecting existing fresh air and flue piping from these boilers. They would be removing and disposing properly of the existing boilers, the circulating pump, and associated piping. They would also be installing a new isolation valves on each of the boilers on the water and the gas piping. We would be installing a new circulating pump to the system, and we would also install the new piping and gas piping to the boilers. They'd be modifying the flue to adapt to the new boilers. They would insulate the water piping, and they would also add water temperature gauges. We are therefore requesting that $144,000 be transferred from the general fund to the capital improvement fund, and authorize the issuing of a purchase order to the low bidder Detroit Boiler Company in the amount of $144,000. This item was identified in the capital plan and was scheduled for 2022. I believe the budget established in the capital plan was $160,000.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown?
Thank you, Lynn. Why couldn't our team install these boilers? Why do we have to go out for a contractor to do the job?
I don't have enough people to actually do the project, but it's better to have this company do the actual installation because we're replacing some piping. They're installing new things on the whole system. So due to manpower.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Sabatini?
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Lynn. How long have these boilers been in place?
About 20 years.
20 years? And useful life on the new ones approximately the same?
Yeah, I always maintain the new stuff isn't built as well. So I'd like to say we'll get 20 years. We'll try.
Okay. Any warranties come with this?
We get a standard warranty.
Which is?
I believe it's a 1-year warranty.
1 year. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. That concludes the internal services section of the meeting. I'll turn the meeting now over to Commissioner Sabatini for the finance, audit, and budget.
Thank you, Commissioner. Item 7A is Resolution 2022-8323, authorizing City of St. Clair Shores to collect the 2022 winter tax levy on the 2022 summer tax bill for all parcels with a total bill of $100 or less. I need a motion to recommend this to full board.
Motion by Zinner.
Made by Zinner, supported by Farrington. We have Corporation Counsel here and Treasurer's Office here, aka Frank and Joe, and Commissioner Haw.
Thanks, Chair. Quick question. Did the city of St. Clair Shores request this of the answer is yes?
Yes.
Thanks. The other question is, it says for summer tax bills for all parcels with a total tax bill of $100 or less. How many of them exist in St. Clair Shores?
Joe, you might want to come up to the podium. There's a couple other commissioners on the list.
Or him and Frank can just nod their heads, you know, that works.
It's a substantial amount, Commissioner. It's, the apparent reason why they do this. In the resolution that the City of St. Clair Shores passed on May 3rd, in the second paragraph, it references that approximately 18,418 tax bills that could be collected as part of the 2022 summer tax collection levy could be moved to, it says the City of St. Clair Shores levied 1.5348 mills as a part of the 2021 winter tax collection levy, and will have approximately 18,418 tax bills that could be collected as part of the 2022 summer tax collection. So to answer your question, I believe it's 18,418 tax bills.
Maybe I ought to move to St. Clair Shores.
And so, part of the law requires the city pass a resolution, which they did, and we provided to you, and the second step would be for the full board to approve it. And that
Okay.
way they can do this pursuant to the law.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have, Chair.
Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you. I don't have a question. St. Clair Shores has been doing this for years. We vote on it every year. So the residents are already used to it. It saves them thousands of dollars in mailing out. It's for people under $100. They don't want to pay for the postage. So the residents there already expect this. They've been doing it for years. Thank you.
Joe, do any other communities do this besides St. Clair Shores? If
No,
it's
it's-
saving them money,
As long as I've been here, St. Clair Shores is the only one that's ever made the request. Frank, you've been here longer. Any other units?
Just St. Clair Shores. It's available to any unit. They have to decide whether to do it or not. Only St. Clair Shores has done that.
I believe the statute was put in place in 2013.
That was before that, but.
Well, I'll defer to you, Counselor.
Well, in 2006, they started moving the tax bills over to the summer. And then what happened is the community started complaining that they're sending out bills for like $10 on some of the bills. So they passed this law and put the $100 limit in, and that may have occurred in 2013.
okay. Commissioner Matuzak.
I am what property has a $100 tax bill?
I would direct
I get that the most of it happens in the summer, but I'm just flabbergasted at this, that there's that number of people that have property bills in the winter that are $100 or less. I can't figure this out. I guess I have to ask somebody in St. Clair Shores.
I would recommend the assessor. I really,
St. Clair Shores, too.
Okay, thank you. I'm just confused.
Commissioner Zinner.
Thank you. I can't answer that question, but I wonder if things get missed, or they wrote a check wrong maybe, or it could be a trailer. Maybe it's an area where a trailer stored, which wouldn't be that cheap either. I know an elderly person many years ago who had to pay something, not in the shores, but she kept forgetting to pay the, I think it was $20 or something for some property somewhere. It was just a small parcel, not on some water, some little island thing, and she kept forgetting to put these papers. She forgot to pay it. She kept remembering she meant to give it to her son or her daughter or whatever it was. And finally, when she handed these papers together to the family member, it was at $200 from $20. And it was at that point too late for that department in that township or city to do anything about it. It was past the date they could do anything about it. It was just the way it was. They paid the money, but sometimes it's maybe just to keep things up so things don't get to be a problem, hopefully. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Farrington.
Thank you, Chair. If I can make a request for staff to get with Treasury and with St. Clair Shores to find out why there's 18,000 bills at $100, so we have knowledge next year, as well as potentially referring this to other cities to do the same thing if it really is a money-saving aspect. So I would like to know at some point in the near future why. Thank you.
All right, trusted staff and also resident of St. Clair Shores had some input for us as well. So Kyle.
Thank you. And actually, I don't believe I'm one of these properties, but I know my parents' property is actually on this list. It has to go by when St. Clair Shores levies their taxes. They do all of their millages on their summer bill, which leaves their winter tax levy smaller. Whereas a lot of municipalities will kind of split it so that half the millages are on the summer, half the millages are based off the winter. St. Clair Shores just does all of theirs on the summer, which reduces the winter amount.
That's a proficient answer by the staff. Thank you.
I thought so too. Okay, seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Frank.
Motion passes 13-0.
Okay, next item, fiscal year 2023 budget review calendar and supplemental worksheet. I need a motion to recommend this to full board.
Support Van Sickle.
Moved by Nard, supported by Van Sickle. So basically what we have here, and Cal, if you want to speak on this, basically this is just the tentative budget review calendar for 2023, as well as the supplemental worksheet. Commissioner Kraft did make note to me that apparently we are going to try and adopt this the day before Thanksgiving, which we have a full board the day before Thanksgiving, just so everyone is aware. We already did vote on that. Hopefully we can get this done before Thanksgiving. But basically staff has put this together for all departments based on the dates here. Obviously some of your committees are going to be participating in this process so that we can get it all done in a timely manner. I thought last year's budget cycle went very well. We'll keep the same type of pattern, consistency, procedure, et cetera. Certainly if anyone has any suggestions or thoughts, I'm open to making the process go as smooth as possible. Also, we have the supplemental worksheet in here attached just for all the departments in regards to what we did last year relative to what we're looking for from the departments. Also asking them for their general ledger report in regards to a little bit more detail if that's necessary. So if a commissioner does want some more detail on a department, they can get that or request that as well, through that department. Commissioner Farrington.
Thank you, Chair. I do agree with Commissioner Kraft, though, for a different reason. 23rd is a holiday. It's my birthday. Thank you.
What's your birthday?
So are you looking for something special on the 23rd, Commissioner? But we already have that full board booked on our calendar for that day. So, we can certainly talk about that. I don't know if we can move it up, Chair, if you want to talk to staff, but we've already have voted on that. That's how this was put into place as well. Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you, Chair. Some of us will be baking on that day, I guarantee you. It's a 2-day event to put together Thanksgiving. Just to clarify, you said this is tentative, but we are voting on it to cement it in the calendar. We have the opportunity during budget, if we don't need them all, not to use them all, but we are cementing it into the calendar once this goes to full board and we cast the vote.
Correct. So if we do need to make any changes, we need to get that done before full board.
Okay, thank you. And by the way, on the birthday thing, welcome to the neighborhood. We've all spent birthdays up here, I think.
Commissioner Brown.
Thank you. Steve, are you comfortable with the calendar? Is there any issues that you see or any concerns you have that I assume that
it looked pretty similar to last year's to me, so I didn't see any.
Blending in with the wall back.
I didn't study it too heavily, I'll admit, but it looks very similar to past years. So at this point, I don't have any concerns.
All right, good. All right, now, on the Thanksgiving theme, in 1988, I wrote a lengthy letter to the Macomb Daily complaining about the Board of Commissioners passing budgets, public hearings the day before Thanksgiving. I called them Thanksgiving Day turkeys because they were doing things without access to the public at 9 o'clock in the morning before Thanksgiving, and I really made a statement about it back in the day. Now that I'm more learned, it's not such a big deal. So anyway, it's just for historical reference. Thank you. And Levy.
And you are the chair.
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Matuzak.
Well, just to point out that November 14th is my birthday, and we have a whole lineup of people here. But more than that, I'm a little concerned about Thursday, October 20th, because this is what happened to us last time. We have the clerk, register of deeds, we have all the courts, and we have the prosecutor, all in one day. And I remember that particular day as being just a lot of information to bring in. So I don't know if we can move the prosecutor to a different day. The clerk, the courts, the public defenders, the juvenile justice, all of that is like a group, but the prosecutor one, that was probably the longest day into evening that we had, and those are two major departments plus the courts, and if we could break that day up, I just think it would make it better. That's my only comment on it.
Okay. While we're on birthdays, mine's November 28th.
There we go.
Commissioner Song.
Thank you, Chair. I support that, Commissioner Matuzak. I think moving the prosecutor to a different date, maybe even the 18th, or even, I was thinking November 15th, government oversight. I don't know if that would be too late. And speaking of 1988, not to make you feel old, Chair, but I was in preschool. And my birthday is December 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, so basically I'm hearing just the prosecutor's office trying to put that in a different day if we can get that. So we'll work here with staff and figure out, if the prosecutor is available on that alternate date, if we can move that around so that our schedule isn't so packed. And obviously we don't, sometimes we have long meetings, obviously, but, we'll do what we can here to make this work. Obviously, it's a tight schedule no matter what, so. Commissioner Haw.
Thank you, Chair. I would agree. We know the prosecutor's budget is minimally going to be contentious, so that's going to run for a long period of time. And Commissioner Zong, he is old. There's no doubt about that. And I've known Jeff for over 20 years, and I did not know November 23rd was his birthday, which is mine as well. Aw.
Birds of a feather flock together.
No, I got, no.
Commissioner Farrington.
Yeah, more serious note, I'm out of town on the 20th. In case it matters, it's our annual meeting for my other job, so in case that matters. I missed it last time, too. Thank you.
Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Yeah, the 18th, finance and equalization is usually relatively quick, I think. And I want to see a group hug between these two gentlemen that share a birthday. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Okay, next item is correspondence, 8A, Plant Moran pre-audit letter dated August 25th, 2022. Need a motion to receive and file. And actually, I'll take A and B together. The motion maker, what? Made by Nard, supported by Farrington. Any discussion on either of these items? Commissioner Matuzak?
Just a question for Steve. The fourth quarter 2021 bill seems late. I'm wondering Yeah.
Got lost in my email box.
Okay.
So, my trusted administrative assistant is now receiving all these emails as well. So, we paid both of these in April.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Okay, seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Next item is public participation. This is the second opportunity for public participation. Seeing no one except Steve in the audience, we're going to close public participation. Move to item number 10, Commissioners' comments. Commissioner Kleinfeld.
So we received an email today from Vicki Wolber regarding the 911 vote that we voted out of committee that hasn't come to full board. They brought this to us in March, making sure we would have plenty of time to vote on it. And if you remember, when it got pulled in March, I made the request that there was a motion to pull it because it was a recommendation out of committee, and everybody supported it. My understanding at that time, because Chair Brown called me on the way in and said that we were postponing it because we needed to make sure what we were doing was perfectly legal. I have since found out it may be more related to changes of hearts of commissioners. I don't have an issue with that. Everybody has a right to change their mind. But then the next month, or the next full board, was the volunteer recognition, and it got pulled from that because we had so many things on the agenda. I made a mistake. I should have insisted that there be a vote there as well. So now, Thursday, this is the last week we can vote on it. And it came out of committee. And so Vicki's explaining to us that Chair Brown has pulled it off the agenda, which means we will not ever vote on it. And it was voted out of committee to full board. And I don't know when that happens that can be a singular decision from a single individual, but more importantly, administration brought this to us in March, and whether we vote up or down on what came out of committee, we have an obligation to cast a vote from something that came out of committee. And I know there's been great frustration from police chiefs and fire chiefs that have shown up and had it removed and not knowing when it's going to come up. It just keeps changing, and I think a lot of them are feeling we're probably going to cast a vote on it when there's nobody here, but instead it looks like we're just never going to cast a vote on it. I did not like what came out of committee. I supported the administration's recommendation, but there was a vote that came out of committee on just a 2-year for that tax, and we have an obligation, whether we voted up or down, to cast a vote on Thursday. So I did want to know, is it going to be on the agenda? And if not, what's the rationale? It did come out of committee. This board voted to put it on full board. Thank you.
Commissioner Matuzak.
Well, I was going to make comments much the same as Commissioner Kleinfeld did. We voted on this. If people want to vote up or down, that's up to you all, but we should vote on something we moved out of committee. And additionally, if the issue is people don't like the funding mechanism, then let's have a discussion about the funding mechanism. It's like we can't just pretend this whole thing doesn't exist, because I've certainly heard from police chief in my area about this, asking about this. I just think we have an obligation to vote. It came out of our committee. It should be on a full board agenda. And for it to be any kind of meaningful at all, it ought to be on this Thursday's agenda. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Zinner.
Yes, I have public people in the public are public safety watching me also. They've talked to me, and I know they need help. And I would like the best mechanism to do that. And I would like more answers from the executives. That's what I would like. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other speakers, we're going to close commissioner comments and move to adjournment.
So
Made by Haw,
How dare you?
moved. You were slow over there.
supported by Romano. Please vote. Have a good rest of the day, commissioners.
You're slowing down, Cheryl.
Maybe.
Motion passes 13-0.